Hello. I'm back from the dead. So, I figured in honor of Pride Month, I would debunk an interesting pamphlet that I saw in a church. I don't really want to say which church because I'm not trying to call anybody out for their views or anything, but let's just find out. Frick. Is marriage in jeopardy? Jesus, I'm shaky. God, I look like Justin Bieber. Dang it. Are you confused about what marriage really means today? What's there to be confused about? I don't know. Let's find out. Introduction. Many people, even Christians, are confused by the arguments they are hearing today on the subject of homosexual marriage. Superficially, what the advocates are saying may seem fair and logical. Yeah. Scratch the surface, however, and you'll find that their assertions don't hold up. Literally, how? This booklet contains some of the frequently asked questions and often heard statements about this important issue, along with the answers that will help you in the debate. This is a cataclysmic social battle, and it will be with us for some time to come. No Christian, no citizen can afford to sit this one out on the sidelines. Neato. Shouldn't two people who love each other be allowed to commit themselves to one another? The answer is yes. It's pretty simple. Answer. Absolutely, and people do that all the time. But we don't call it marriage. There are lots of loving commitments that are not marriage. Friends are committed to each other. A parent is committed to a child, grandparents to their grandchildren, and people are committed to their pets. All of these are forms of love. All of them result in commitments. None of them is marriage. Yeah, but none of them is also romantic love. Like, people who are romantically in love should be allowed to marry each other, regardless of the the gender. Am I making sense? I'm too hungry to make sense right now, I think. Question. What's wrong with letting homosexuals marry? Answer. No human society, not one, has ever tolerated marriage between members of the same sex as a norm for family life. And that is what is at stake here, making marriage between two men or two women as normal as between one man and one woman. Yeah, that's the goal. Like, what's wrong with that? Literally. I need to stop saying literally. God, I'm such a 16-year-old girl. Poop. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. So, what what is actually wrong with that being normal? No human society has ever tolerated marriage between members of the same sex as a norm. Um, I that may or may not be true. I don't know. I don't particularly trust this pamphlet. Poop. Let me go turn that off. That's gonna suck. Really should have turned that off before I started recording. But it's okay. Um, yeah, I don't understand that. What I was saying, that may or may not be true. I don't know. I don't particularly trust this pamphlet for information accuracy. But even if that is true, what's wrong with changing up the norm? Like, maybe no human society has ever tolerated marriage between members of the same sex, but I'm pretty darn sure that same sex couples have been a thing for a while. Like, even in the animal kingdom. Like, you see like bears doing sodomy all the time. Yeah, that's a thing. Bear sodomy. Look it up. I know what I'm talking about. I think. What was I saying? Something that had to do with the point that had to do with bear sodomy. Um, it is saying that neither arrangement is any better than the other. Correct. As Dr. Dobson writes, only until the last few milliseconds of history and experience, i.e., Canada and some European nations, have we arrogantly believed that we can improve upon this ancient and universal institution. You know what else was a peculiar institution? Heckin' slavery. I'm pretty glad that's gone. So, yeah, sometimes change is for the better. Classic example. This public meaning of marriage is not something that each new generation is free to redefine. Marriage is defined by the nat- the heck. Marriage is defined by the God of nature and nature's God, and a wise society will protect marriage as it has always been understood. Marriage is the way our culture promotes monogamy, provides a way for males and females to build a life together, and ensures every child has a mother and a father. Well, wasn't that special? I'm trying to think of like what you can even say to somebody who's this ignorant. Seriously. Like if somebody is actually this backwards in their views, there's nothing I can say to convince them that gay marriage should be legal. There's like nothing I could say. I mean, of course you're entitled to your own opinions, but it does piss me off when people think they can discriminate against others because of sexual orientation, race, gender, etc. That heckin' pisses me off. Don't do that. Question. Homosexuals can't have children, but many other couples can't as well. Why do we let them marry? Answer. This is the exception and not the rule. Many of these childless couples adopt. Why can't homosexual couples adopt? What? And their adoptive children receive the benefits of both father and mother in this way. It is impossible for a homosexual couple to bestow that benefit, the presence of a mother and a father, on any child, even if that couple adopts or uses artificial insemination. Okay, I think I can guess what that means. Um, but that's not the point at all. Why do they need mother and father? I've actually read this pamphlet over once already, and they do get to that, but their reasoning isn't exactly rock solid. So I can't wait to reread that. Question. Isn't that cruel? Answer. That's only because of the times in which we live. Our society prizes what seems fair more than what is true. Doesn't that seem right? Children truly need both a mom and a dad. It is cruel to intentionally deny them this. The research supporting this is both substantial and unequivocal. You know, just because you use big words doesn't mean that you know what you're talking about. Like, there's this joke that goes, sometimes I use big words so I can sound more photosynthesis. And that's what you're doing right now. You don't sound very photosynthesis to me, though. What about people who are too old to have children, even adopted ones? We let them marry? Answer. Yes, of course we allow older folks to marry. Having babies is not a requirement of marriage. Then let the gays marry. The reason for supporting the institution of marriage is not rooted only in child rearing. Man and woman were made for each other, and the state has a compelling interest in supporting it, with or without children. Bear sodomy is what I say to that. In nature, it just freaking happens. Like, I let me tell you a story. I used to have 3 male guinea pigs, and they were very hormonal when they were teenagers. And they would just like go to town on each other all the time. That's pretty gay. And Maybe you'll say it's because there are no female guinea pigs around. I say it's because they're proud little guinea pig floofs. They have the gay, and it's okay to be gay. I can't talk, I'm so hungry. Okay. Oh, here's where they explain why they need both a mom and a dad. And you'll see what I mean by it. The reasoning is not rock solid. Question: isn't it true that what kids need most are loving parents, regardless of whether it's a mother or father? Answer: no. A child needs a loving mother and father. A wealth of research over the past 30 years has shown us this. However, same sex marriage and parenting intentionally deprive children of a mother or father. They put that in parentheses like we didn't know that. It's not it's not intentional deprivation. Like you're making it sound like gay couples want to just like abuse children or something. That's no. I mean, I can't speak for every gay couple obviously, but I'm going to assume that most don't want to abuse children. What are the odds of that? They just want to marry who they love and have a loving family, like any other god dang person. Is that too much to ask? God dang it. The most loving mother in the world cannot teach a little boy how to be a man. Now you're getting into gender stereotypes. That's a whole nother story. Likewise, the most loving man cannot teach a little girl how to be a woman. A gay man cannot teach his son how to love and care for a woman. Okay, I'm not saying that you have to take after your parents in terms of sexuality, because you obviously don't. Like, gay people are born to straight people all the time. But, like, are you really going to assume that your son is. A gay man cannot teach his son how to love and care for a woman? What if the son is not straight? What if that happens? It happens. A lesbian cannot teach her daughter how to love a man or know what to look for in a good husband. Well, there's this great thing called the internet. If you were around after the Stone Age, like apparently when this was written, am I making sense again? Am I not making sense? I don't know. I'm tired, but I'm trying to be a good person here and make logical arguments for why homosexuals should be allowed to marry. Please understand. Just very hungry and tired, and it's a mess. But it's okay. The following is my favorite sentence. Is love enough to help two gay dads guide their daughter through her first menstrual cycle? God forbid a man talk about periods. Wow. So a man apparently is not allowed to know the anatomy of a woman. Like, of course, he won't be able to tell from experience what having a period feels like, but that doesn't mean he can't empathize. That doesn't mean he can't, like, care for his daughter, get his daughter, like, materials for it, you know? I'm talking about tampons and pads and that. You probably picked up on that. That's okay. So, like, what is love enough to help two gay dads guide their daughter through her first menstrual cycle? Is it? Is it enough? Like a mom, they cannot comfort her by sharing their first experience. Little boys and girls need the loving daily influence of both male and female parents to become who they are meant to be. Meant to be. That sounds like more gender stereotyping. Like, that's not cool. It's almost like the undertones of this are saying, this is what a man should be, and this is what a woman should be, and only a man and a woman can teach that. Or only a man can teach a boy that, and only a woman can teach a girl that. Newsflash, people can be whatever they want to be. Like, a girl can be a boxer, and a boy can be a fashion model. That's okay. It's perfectly acceptable. It's not even out of the ordinary at all. Question. But isn't it better for a child to grow up with two loving same-sex parents than to live in an abusive home? Than to live in an abusive home or be bounced around in foster care? Answer. You're comparing the worst of one situation, abusive heterosexual parenting, with the best of another, loving same-sex parenting. That's apples and oranges. It's both parenting, and it is the worst of one situation versus the best of another, but in a way, they're also the same heckin' situation. They're both parenting, so I don't understand the big difference. Actually, research reveals that child abuse is at its lowest when children live with both biological parents, compared with higher rates for children who live with at least one non biological parent or caregiver. Has a footnote to an article. I might want to check that out later and see if that is reliable or not, which I'm guessing it's not. I don't trust this pamphlet. Same sex parenting situations make it impossible for a child to live with both biological parents, thus increasing their risk of abuse. I don't understand the science of how that works, though. Like, how. What does it matter if they don't have both biological parents? That's pretty commonplace regardless of if the marriage is a same sex marriage or a heterosexual marriage. That's just like a normal thing. Those who want homosexual marriage are not asking to take the children living in the most difficult situations, so it's intellectually dishonest to preface the argument with that claim. They are asking for the same thing all parents desire: healthy, happy children they can call their own. Yeah, yeah. They are asking for the same thing all parents desire: healthy, happy children they can call their own. Yeah, that's what all parents want. Even same sex parents. You're kind of disproving your own point by saying that. So let us dispense with the idea that same sex couples will serve some high social good by only taking children in the most difficult situations. They have never asked for this. Maybe I'm just really hungry, but does that make sense? They have never asked for this. I don't know. I don't diddly doodly know. Question. Apart from the issue of children, don't gays have the same legal right to marry that heterosexuals do? Answer. All people have the same right to marry as long as they abide by the law. Yeah. And that's assuming the law says that same sex marriage is legal, because it should be. Duh. You cannot marry if you're already married. You cannot marry a close relative. Someone should tell my uncle that. We're not going to go there, though. An adult cannot marry a child. You should also tell my uncle that. Just went there again, sorry. You cannot marry your pet, and you cannot marry someone of the same sex. Okay, all of those make sense except for the last one. I can't heck and speak today, but all of those make sense except for that last one. It's like it's a perfectly normal law up until you cannot marry someone of the same sex. Okay, why? I mean, you've been explaining why for like how many pages now? 2, 3? And I still haven't found a good reason why gay people should not marry. Still have not found it. Let's be clear, everyone has access to marriage as long as they meet the requirements. This is not about access to marriage, it's about redefining marriage to be something it has never been. Yes, it is about access to marriage. No, they do not have access to marriage if they are only attracted to someone of the same sex, and the law prohibits same-sex marriage. In that case, they really don't have the same access to marriage. You're taking that away from them. And that's not very neato of you. Question. But heterosexuals can marry according to their sexual orientation. Why shouldn't homosexuals be allowed to marry according to their orientation? Answer. No U.S. court has ever recognized, nor has any scientific study ever established, that homosexuality is rooted in nature, that's not true, and therefore is the same as heterosexuality. I just told you about the bear sodomy. Do I have to keep bringing that up? Friggin' bear I'll look it up. Look that shit up. Bear sodomy. Already, a list of mammals displaying homosexual behavior on Wikipedia. Oh, there are some interesting images that I never wanted to see. Ooh, there's another search called homosexuality in wolves. Again, there's the list of mammals displaying homosexual behavior on Wikipedia. Not that I think Wikipedia is a reliable source, but it is if it proves my point. No, I'm just kidding. Let's see if I can find like an actual article though. Homosexual activity among animals stirs debate. National Geographic. There we go. Lots of animals engage in homosexual behavior, says BBC. But whether they are truly homosexual is another matter entirely. Well, what does it matter? They display that behavior. See? It's a thing.
Hey, demonstrate.
Making a YouTube video, Dad.
Can I be in it?
Sure, come on in. I was prepared to.
No.
Okay.
No.
That was a cameo from my dad. Just makes this video look even more professional and me look even more or less crazy. I don't know. More professional, that's the word I was looking for. That makes me look so much more professional. Yeah, guys, you can totally trust my word. My dad walks in, it's time for dinner. Oh, it's okay. I'm just a little kid. Or a big kid, whatever. I'm 16. Where was I? I just looked at bear sodomy. This is rock bottom. No U.S. court has ever recognized, nor has any scientific study ever established, that homosexuality is rooted in nature and therefore is the same as heterosexuality. Scientists understand that homosexuality is rooted in a collection of biological, psychological, and social factors. We cannot treat them as the same thing. Well, I guess you can't because they're opposites, homosexuality and heterosexuality. But they're two sides of the same coin. Like, seriously. How can you not treat them as the same thing? Weirdo. Question. But I thought homosexuals couldn't help it. This seems intolerant. Answer. Then nature itself is intolerant. No, it's not. even if I couldn't find many articles about friggin' animal sodomy, my freaking late guinea pigs used to go heckin' down on each other all the heckin' time. If that's not gay, I don't know what is. Marriage has not been imposed upon culture by some religious institution or government power from which it needs to be set free. It was established by God. I'm not trying to belittle religion or anything, but this does not sound very scientific. Is enforced by the nature which God bestowed upon mankind, and we tamper with it at our own peril. Here's what is intolerant. Same-sex marriage is being forced upon us by a small but elite group of individuals dressed in black robes, judges, who say that thousands of years of human history have simply been wrong. That is a very arrogant notion that will bring great harm to our culture. Ish what? Question. Isn't banning gay marriage just like banning interracial marriage? Answer. Not at all. Removing racial marriage bans affirm marriage by stating that any man and woman have a right to marry each other regardless of race. Same-sex marriage, however, redefines marriage. What is more, it is developmentally very different for a child to grow up with a white mother and an Asian father than with two mothers or two fathers. Developmentally very different. I mean, I guess so, but different isn't always bad, you know? Ugh, this thing is long. I'll make this video into 2 parts. We'll continue with, but haven't we seen all kinds of family diversity in various civilizations throughout history? And their attempts to debunk that. Happy Pride Month.